Hello! Magandang araw! Nagbabalik po ang ZarahG, Zara Gagatiga, ang inyong pong lingkod. At muli mag-uusap tayo tungkol sa mga aklat at sa pagsusulat. And for this new season of author and book chat with ZarahG, we have a special guest and she just released or launched a book published by Ilaw ng Tahanan, Spikey, Sprinkles, and Prongies, none other than Miss Natasha Vizcarra. Hi, Nats!
Hello! Hi, Zara, and hello, all you wonderful librarians and parents and kids.
Yeah, we have Nats here. And nakakatuwa because I'm here in Binyan, Laguna. And Nats, where are you? Nasaan ka sa mundo?
I am in between Boulder and Denver in Colorado, sa US. And my town has a funny name. Ang pangalan niya Broomfield.
How do you spell that? Spell,
Like
please.
broom, Broom. A field of
Broom.
brooms.
Wow.
Broomfield,
That's an interesting
Colorado.
name for a town, no?
I
That would
know.
be that would be an interesting thing to research on. Bakit kaya Broomfield? So my next question is, kwentuhan mo naman kami, ano ang buhay ng isang science writer? Audience viewers, Miss Natasha Vizcarra here is a science writer and editor, and she's written for reputable magazines in the US. And she has a wonderful website. I have visited her website and na-impress ako dun sa article on fermentation. Bakit? Of course, because I'm in a Korean mood. So gusto ko ring matutong
Oh.
gumawa ng kimchi. Alright, anyway, ang dami ko nang dinaldal. Yes, Nats, kwentuhan mo naman kami, what is a science writer actually? Ano yung ginagawa mo as a science writer? What does it entail? What's exciting about it? What's the responsibility of a science writer, especially in this time, no? Na may pandemic tayo.
So I am now a freelance science writer, meaning I can write for any publication that I want to write or any publication that wants to publish what I'm writing. Basically, ang science writer parang kumbaga sa dyaryo, parang science beat reporter. Actually, nung reporter ako for The Inquirer, I used to cover environment. So parang science writer na rin yun. You take news about the environment and then you explain it to ordinary people. Yung ginagawa ko ngayon, it's a little more, ano ba to? It's a little more tied to research because I usually read findings from science journals. And if they're interesting and if they have a compelling story, I pitch it to publication or sometimes they assign it to me and then I write about it. So sometimes publications will look for a science writer because a general writer won't know the ins and outs of research. If you get a science writer to write about something, mas alam niya kung sino yung hahanapin for other interviews, kung aling journal ba yung reputable, tas may established pool of science sources ka na, hindi yung maghahanap ka pa, sino ba talaga ang interviewin, ganon. Usually meron ka ng sources na you can depend on, who trust you, who know about your work, and they'll immediately respond to you if you need quotes or you need to vet a piece of research. Para bang, should I write about this or is this, I don't have to write about this. Para bang, it's not significant. So yun, that's what a science writer is.
I think that's a pretty exciting work, but it really entails a lot of research, no? And when we speak of research, do you have your own, let's say, criteria or your own guidelines to to follow or steps in the process of coming up with a piece of writing that's scientific? Kasi hindi ito yung scientific paper, hindi siya yung
Yeah.
experiment, no? Mm-mm.
So one important criteria that science writers pay attention to is if the findings have been peer reviewed. Ibig sabihin, kunwari ako yung scientist, hey, I discovered a new volcano. I'm gonna write about it and document it. And then I submit my findings to a journal, for example, Nature. And then Nature contacts other scientists who know about this field and they critique your paper. They really like examine it and question it, and they put it through the ringer because that's what science is all about. And then you respond. Sometimes papers get rejected, but once it clears that and you've responded to everything or you've done additional things that they request, it gets published. So that means it's been kind of verified as credible research. So as science writers, we like to focus on peer-reviewed stuff.
How long will it take you to work on one particular article and then yung waiting that it's for publication?
It really depends. Like sometimes an 800-word piece will take so long because, for example, pandemic, people are slow to respond.
Yeah.
So it's different. But I can give you the example of one piece of writing that I did recently. It was 3,000 words. It was about um, Hawaii's push for clean energy. That they're the first state that had aggressive clean energy goals, even before the other states. So I track my time
Mm-hmm.
because I work on so many projects. It took me from assignment to final draft a month. And then I think because it's a magazine with a print version and an online version. Nakita ko na lang yung final magazine April, May, June. Like 4 months later.
What sustains you? Because it sounds rigorous and very much disciplined writing, no? At play.
I think I've discovered that um, I like learning and I'm fascinated with a lot of things. But unlike a scientist who can be fascinated on one thing for his whole career, I'm a writer and a journalist by nature. So I like to be fascinated about different things. You know what I mean? So it's like I actually left my nice job before this because I was just sick and tired of Arctic sea ice. It's like I don't have to write about this thing anymore if I have a choice.
Yeah.
And also because I had been writing about it for so long, the jargon was starting to creep in. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was starting to write like the scientists, and it's like I'm losing my advantage here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I get what you mean because I really enjoyed reading your fermentation article.
oh,
And you
I'm so happy to
begin,
hear that.
yeah, you begin by describing Mabi David diving into this bowl of red stuff, red gooey stuff, and I just can feel the sensation. Gusto ko na tuloy matutong mag-ferment na rin, ano, at gumawa ng
Oh,
kimchi.
you can
And
do it,
and then
please.
there's this punch na dumating ang dun sa article na dumating yung pandemic and all the cabbages went to waste,
Yes,
and
yes.
I think that's when you said you're interested to learn about things and to connect them to other things than just science, no? Lumalaki, nako-connect siya sa ibang aspect nung topic. So, yeah, fermentation is really something that we can take seriously, not just because of our health or our interest in some Korean boy band or Korean culture, but it's also something that we can consider as how I can take care of myself, because the process both of fermentation and enjoying the
Yeah.
product afterwards is something good also for the well-being. Plus, I also like the economics, your discussion of economics in that article. Talagang ang daming areas where, me as a reader can connect my own interest. Oo nga, no? Pwedeng mag-business sa panahon ng pandemic at mag-e-enjoy kang gumawa because it's really something new. It's
Yeah.
something good for the body and also for your well-being as a person.
Well, a secret satisfaction for me for that article was that I got to write about a friend to sort of connect with her and to see how she blossomed as a ano ba yun, plant-based cook. Because when
Mm-mm.
we were both seeing each other in Kuting, we were all just really like writing for kids. And then I'm not even sure what else she was doing there. But yeah, part of my the thing that I love about my job is I get to talk to people about the things they love, they're fascinated with, the things that they're an expert at. Um, that's I love that about about science writing or about writing.
Galing. Yeah. Ang saya. Well, of course, because I think we both know how it is like to be in that industry. So my next question is, we
Yes.
now go to you talking to different people. Did it also factor that kind of interaction in your new book, Spikies, Prickles, and Prongies? Alam mo, nakikiliti ako pag sinasabi ko yung title. I don't know. May ganong dating sa akin. Alam mo, parang ang saya-saya. Spikies, Prickles, and Promise. COVID discovery story. COVID is really something. It's terrible. Pero, look at those words. Spikies, Prickles, and Promise. Ang saya niyang banggitin. And even that, to me, holds magic. So, I'm excited to get a copy of the book. I have not read the book yet, but I'd be very excited to read aloud that book to an audience, because the title itself is sounds fun despite the topic of coronavirus and the pandemic. So, yeah, how did you interview, did you talk to people? um you said you love learning about things beyond a scientific concept. So how was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, how did writing the book Spikies went for you, especially working with the fantastic Jamie Bauza?
So the biggest challenge for me there was that I couldn't talk to anyone because everyone was busy. Like I sent out a lot of interview requests and some of them were I'm so sorry and some of them were crickets. And like I have no right to complain because they're saving lives, they're doing research. It's
Mm.
I can't I can't just
Mm.
I can't say please please please. I mean hindi nga ako nag-follow up masyado eh kasi alam
Mm.
ko na. So, um that that left me with journal articles and then reading what other reporters were writing and also kind of leaning on um, the community of science writers in that I'm part of in Twitter. So in my state in Colorado, oh my god, ang daming science writers dito. I don't know why. Mga science writers na I think got tired of New York or DC at
Mhm.
dito nag-move. I think it's also because ang daming science labs sa Colorado. So these are people whose names I know and who know me and whom I might have corresponded with when I worked at that Snow and Ice Research Center. So whenever I was a little iffy on something and I just needed the extra reassurance or verification, I would send a DM. I would creep into their DMs and say, "Hey, I'm doing this children's book for," sasabihin ko talaga, "sa Philippines, ganito, ganyan. And I read so and so's journal article. And and I know that it's not it so karamihan maraming research in 2020 that some reporters were already reporting about even though hindi pa sila na peer review.
Wow. Oh.
So so sabi ko, a lot of my verifications were like, I know the New York Times wrote about this, but it's not through peer review yet. What are your feelings about what's your gut feeling about this? Ganito, ganyan. So, ang general consensus naman is like yes or no, and then just put it on your list of studies to verify just before you go to press.
Mm.
Tapos i-check mo kung what's the word, kung na-approve ba o hindi.
Mhm.
So, before we went to press for Spikies, Prickles, and Prongies, I went through all of the journal articles from which I gleaned stuff, or not quoted, but used their findings. And I had to verify kung pumasa ba sila o hindi. And I
Yeah.
think 3 of them hindi pumasa. So I had to take out sentences and revise accordingly.
Wow. Whew. So inabot talaga siya ng taon, ano? Because
Ay, more than 1
more than
year.
1 year. Oh.
Yeah, more than 1
Yeah,
year.
kasi it's also a very, shall we say, no, I just remember what Dr. Luis Gatmaitan said. No? Ano yung sinabi ni Luis na siya rin, early on in the pandemic, around May, April, he was very careful making a decision to write something about COVID, given that it's
Yeah,
a relatively new virus and the phenomenon is really shocking, no, for
it's
everyone. So
it's
maingat siyang nag-isip, hindi siya nangahas. He was very cautious about putting information out there. So now that the book is out, what do you look forward to? Response from parents, teachers? Um, I'm just happy that it's a children's book that you put out with Ilaw ng Tahanan. Miss na miss ka namin sa industriya, Nats.
oh,
And
thank
you're one of the
you.
voices that I personally look forward to hearing and listening and reading. Yeah. So, yung parang comeback album, gano'n, ano? So, dapat may bonggang-bonggang ano to, conversations. The launch that you had last October 15 and
Mm.
this interview with you, sana masundan pa, no? Sana mapag-usapan pa namin because, yun nga, the book is very relevant, but you and Jamie partnering in this in this story in this endeavor is really, I think, something that the book industry is happy to have your voice and Jamie's art. Na-miss ko rin ang art ni Jamie. Parang ito ata yung book niya after our book, which is Masaya ang Maging Ako.
Oh,
Tama ba?
Oh,
I have to
congrats pala for that.
That was 2020 before the pandemic. Oo, tapos inintay ko nga kung may bago siyang libro because I really like her illustrations. So, yeah, two of my favorite people in one book. Yay! So, yeah, ano na, after launching and doing interviews, may ina-expect ka ba? May, what do you look forward to? Because you're back.
Well, before I say what I'm looking forward to, I think I wrote a letter to the team in Tahanan, and I told them, "Thank you for letting me write the book because it was the medicine that I didn't know I needed." Because I have been writing about climate change for more than 10 years, and you usually get um, you know, denial or anger thrown back at you. And I think I've developed kind of a thick skin for that. And, um, I was just so used to that. And then I was so surprised about all the happiness around this book. Because I thought I would just launch it and then do some talks. I didn't know, parang, wow, people are so happy. Like, I should be happy too. Ano nangyari sa akin? It's like, well, okay, I really needed this. So yeah, I was so happy that so many people were so happy about it. I was very apprehensive nga kasi because it's about COVID, 'di ba? It's like I don't know how it's going to be received. But people were so glad, and I'm like, salamat. And then what I'm looking forward to, I I miss talking to Filipino kids. So, when I left for the US, which also coincided with me leaving JI, at that time, I think the well was empty. It's like I left everything out there until I was spent. But now I'm not spent. I have a lot of stuff to give. So I'm excited to talk to kids again, to young writers, to librarians, and to teachers, just to offer them what I have to see if it's useful to them. Um, and it's pandemic. I'm just happy to talk to someone.
Makakaasa ka, Nats, nagustuhan ko yung sinabi mo na this is the medicine you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm also into bibliotherapy, and apart from reading texts or books or engaging in media and other forms of art, it's the creation of art and books and literature that provides us with that sense of I'm okay. I'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
uh, there's a sisterhood or a kinship out there. There's a community out there who I know will take care of me. I found that in the pandemic. It was also difficult for me to write. I've been writing short essays for this and that. Namimiss ko na rin gumawa ng kwento, pero hindi ko na minamadali ang sarili ko. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe this is also the medicine that I didn't know I needed. So there, it it's somehow, no, this pandemic is giving us a lot of things to think about. Um, what we lost, our losses, and our gains. So,
Yeah.
tutulungan kita. I'm going to connect you to the network of schools
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and libraries who are also looking for voices to listen to, for people to join their community. And I guess that's an important thing, no, in
Yeah.
this time of the pandemic. We have to make connections. So yeah,
And
I am going to
you
share
know,
the joy.
it was